Yo, what's up everybody? This is Ahmed from Coder Up. This video is actually the first one in a series of videos where we're gonna be talking about Apache server. You can say it's gonna be like a crash course on the Apache, how to work with it, how to modify it, how to like have different sites, okay, how to configure them, everything, okay. So this video will only be dedicated to installing the Apache server. Also, we're gonna be having like kind of a brief explanation how do servers work. Okay, so as you can see, I have two virtual machines up and running. I have my client and my server. These are two virtual machines. I'm connecting to them through SSH. So before we actually start talking about Apache server, let me just give you kind of a brief how server work. Okay, a server is just a machine that handles requests. So you send a request to this machine to this running server. It processes this request and sends you back a response. Okay, so this is the basics of how a server works. So we're going to be using a tool called NC, or like it's a short for netcat. It's a tool that helps us make TCP connection. TCP connection, in short, it's like a connection you build between a server and a client to send data, to send requests and responses. Okay, so as you can see, I'm on the server side. Now I'm gonna make the server wait and like listens to a request sent to it on a specific port. Okay, so to actually make this, like implement this, we have just to specify the L flag, which stands for listen, and specify the port number. If I here wrote 1023, it will give us an error that permission denied. Why is that? Because by default on the Linux machines, starting from the port like 1 to 1023, these all ports have like sudo permission needed to access them, because usually these ports are kind of accessed by the machine itself. It's used by the machine itself, so they kind of have some restrictions. So starting from the 1024th port, we can use it without sudo. Also, to check this limit, you can just limits with the M flag. It will show you starting from this port. You can use this port, without sudo. Okay, so I'm gonna be changing this to 1024, and as you can see, it's waiting for anyone to connect and send data. So I'm gonna go to the server's client side. Before we actually connect, I want to show you that I have my server IP address binded to the name server. I'm gonna show you like in the hosts file. As you can see, I have the server name binded to this IP address. This is the IP address of the server machine. If you don't know the IP address of the machine, you can run IP address show, and as you can see, this is the IP. This is the IP. Yeah, no, everything is alright. This is the IP address of this machine. Okay, the other one was it was the same, but at the end it was 122. Okay, so now let's connect to this machine. I'm gonna type server. This is the IP address and the port to which we're gonna be connected, which 1024. Hit enter. Now as you can see, nothing happened. Both of them are waiting for one of them to send a request. So for example, I'm gonna send like hello server, and on the server side this message appeared because this is like we made the connection. The client sends data. Okay, we have received this data. Let's assume like we have another server, another service that's running, and it's like processing the input that we have received the requests. Okay, so it responds with like hello client. So this now appears on the client side. Okay, so this was actually kind of the basics of how a server works. You handle requests. They send you a request, the client sends you a request, you handle it, process it, return back a response. Okay, so now we're gonna be, this is all for the NC thing. Now we're gonna be talking about Apache server. First we have to install it using sudo apt install Apache2 Apache. Well, let me hit enter. As you can see, a lot of things have been printed. Well, what interests us is that, like, as you can see, these are the all new packages that are going to be installed. We're only installing Apache2, but it has kind of like sub packages that's also being used with the Apache. So these also other packages are going to be installed, and this is the amount of space we're going to download from the internet, around 2 megabytes. And after we unpack all these installed files, it's going to take around like 8 megabytes of storage on our machine. So I'm just gonna hit enter to install it. So as you can see, it's already installed. Now how to actually make sure that this server is working, how to make sure the Apache is working, we can use systemctl. It's actually a tool to monitor processes and manipulate their states. So I'm going to just start typing status and the Apache server. As you can see, it's showing that it's loaded and active and running. Loaded, like we have loaded the configuration files, and active, that means it's like up and running. We can like use it. As you can see, it's up and running 22 seconds ago. This is because like I just installed it and ran it at the same time. So this is the amount of storage that has been used by the machine. The process ID, we're going to be talking about IDs later about this, because as you can see, it also has some sub processes, or like they're like threads. Okay, so we're going to be talking about this in later videos. For now, we're just going to make sure that the server is working. So now it's running. Now we're going to try to connect it to from the client side. I'm going to make just a simple request on the Apache. Okay, so for this, I'm going to be using curl. Curl is just a tool to make requests on a URL. Okay, it may be a GET request, POST request, but we're going to just use the simple GET request. Okay, HTTP, and here we specify the server, the IP address, and we have to also specify the port number. And that's it. Now we hit enter. We get some kind of a page index of. As you can see, this is the default page that we got right now. I'm gonna explain in a minute why is that. If we look now in the browser, Firefox, now let's write the same thing, HTTP server. By the way, don't forget, this is not my client machine, this is my host, like my host machine, and here you have to also bend the word server to the IP address. Okay, so here and hit enter. As you can see, this is the default page. Well, this is not actually the default. This is because we don't have any files in a specific directory that I'm going to be talking about right now. So let's go check this directory. It should be at well, let's actually check if it's there. Var it doesn't exist, so let's create it then, because I've probably deleted it before on my machine, but probably you'll have it. Okay, so let's watch file or directory, because actually the this directory in the middle does not exist. So let's specify the p flag. Permission denied. Okay, now it's created. Now let's create a new file there at the var HTML. Now let's call it like index.html, and here well, instead of just typing this content by myself, as you can see here, I have an index.html file on my local machine. So let's just print the content of it. Okay, okay, this is my main machine. I'm gonna print the content of this is the file. I kind of have some autocomplete on this terminal, this shell, so let me just copy this one, print it here, Control X, and now let's just make another request, like reload this page. Let's see what we get. It doesn't load the page. Well, interesting. Let's look back there. www index.html. Maybe we have to restart the server. Systemctl restart. Apache, yeah. I don't know, it's not autocomplete. I actually made a typo here. Completed, failed to restart. Apache. Apache2 was not found. Apache2 server, right. We actually ran the command before. Okay, let's just run it again. System ctl status Apache2 unknown operation status. Okay. Server Apache2 not found. How is that? I'm running it on the clients. Okay, I'm running it on the client side. Okay, now it should work. I get we've actually created a new file on the clients. Okay, guys, I kind of like got lost between them. So now let's actually check whether this exists on this machine. So var, yeah, as you can see it exists, but we don't have a file here, right? So let me create it. Index.html, and now print the content. Oops, it's the null content. Let's now copy this and put it back to the client now. Hit Ctrl S. We didn't actually open this file with sudo, so we can't edit it. Now we can. Now if we run back to the server and reload this page, as you can see, it's already reloading the page that I have just put in this directory index.html. Okay, so this means it can load the page. This is actually the home directory. We can actually change the directory from which Apache like processes and sends the file and so on. We're gonna be also like going over this in another video. Okay, one more thing, I'm just gonna make requests on this page using Python. So for this, I'm gonna be just running Python 3 to open this Python shell. Now all I have to do is like import requests, and now I'm gonna create a new request with the requests.get, and here all I have to do is just type the address, okay, like the full URL actually. Server, you can also type server, it will get recognized here, and I'm gonna specify the port. Close brackets, hit enter. Now to see actually, for example, the content that we have received, as you can see, this is the HTML page that we saw on the browser right now. This is just the HTML form of it, and if you actually want to see whether the request worked, yep, we just print the value. Okay, it means that the request has been processed successfully. Okay, so as you can see, yep, it worked. Actually, we have a lot of parameters here at the OR variable. As you can see, for example, URL. This is the URL that we have queued. Cookies, but probably don't have any cookies for now. Our.requests show the request that we have sent. Let's actually check what we have there. .requests. What do we have here? Body. We don't send a body. Maybe you can check methods. It should be get. Yeah, because we actually like fetch the page. Request URL. This is actually from where we have made the requests. Probably not. This is actually where we sent the request. Okay. So actually, this is all for this video, guys. Thank you for watching, and see you on the next one.